secretary now. He's completed his first year. I've been impressed with this young man. This young man has jumped in and has done everything that we've asked him to do. He's taken some flack. Of course, the things are probably ain't his fault. Now, if electricity ever goes out, please don't blame Joe. Blame the infrastructure. You know, if there's a water main break or a pothole, that's not Joe's fault. Blame me before you blame Joe. But it's all money in and money out. And he's making sure that we're putting our money where our mouths are. And Joe, I want to just say publicly, thank you.
Hey, thanks Rick for those words. Hey, thank you everyone for showing up. That meal was wonderful. The pie, everything, that was a really great meal. So good job for everyone that helped out. So yes, Rick did mention that we didn't get our 1% sales tax increase, and that's okay. You know, would it have helped with a lot of things? Yes, it would have. But as he said, we've got creative. We're doing some things already. Immediately the day after that, we went to work on what we can do different. We want to keep our public safety as intact as we can. That's fire, 911, and our police department. We want to make sure you have a safe Junta at all times. We want to make sure we take care of our roads, because next to the electricity and the water and all that everyone's complaining about, driving around on our roads. So we want to keep that as much intact as we can, and we can do it. We can get creative. We can tighten our belts, and we can get the job done. We have an amazing employee force. Right? It starts with electric, police department, fire. What they do for us on a day-to-day basis is just incredible, because next to professional athletes and elected officials, everyone seems to know how to do a city worker's job. Whether you're the janitor or the line guys or the police department, everybody knows what they should be doing at all times. If you're on our streets, you should never take a break if you're working on the streets, crew, because someone's going to see you taking that break. They're going to say, hey, you're paying that guy just to stand there with a shovel? No, he worked 6 hours before that. He could take a 5-minute breather. So we have an amazing workforce. It's because of them that we're able to do what we do. And I know sometimes we get frustrated, but we have to remember that we're working towards something. We're more transparent now than we've ever been. You guys, in addition to being able to go in person, with COVID, we've been able to do that for a while. You can go to all the city council meetings, the first and third Monday of every month. If you cannot make it, those meetings are streamed live on Facebook. We're going to look at doing some other things, maybe YouTube, or if you don't do social media or online, to try and get that word out to you. I did see we had the Tribune Democrats over here. We have Seco News right here. We're working with them. They're always streaming stuff for us. We want you guys to be involved. It's fine to make those comments, but come in, come join us, come help us. I did 2 town halls when we were pushing the 2B issue, and I had a lot of people come out with interesting ideas. I wouldn't say they were all good ideas, but they had interesting ideas on how to make more money for the city. Those are always welcome. So, help us out where you can. There's different boards that you can get involved with, whether it's tourism, whether it's urban renewal, whether it's whatever it is you want to help out with. You have to join in on it. You can't just play on the sidelines. We need everyone's help, and I really hope to see a lot of you take us up on that offer. But with that, who do I have next, Greg?
Let's see. Yes, Mr. Burke.
With that, I'd like to introduce just a guy from Ohana, my good friend, Greg Coles. Chamber President.
Thanks, Mayor. Good afternoon. Welcome to those of you that are from out of town. Welcome to Lahana. We appreciate having you. Special shout out to our friends from the Department of Local Affairs, Gail and Larry, for making the trip down. They've been hugely helpful to us in the development of our program, Main Street, Colorado. I'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. So I grew up here in Lahana, moved back almost 10 years ago. The Colomans and the Klein family go back probably 100 years, and it still didn't dawn on me I should never answer the phone when Rick Klein calls, because it's not like how you doing or anything. It's like, hey, I need something. And then I made the double mistake. When Cynthia calls, you should never answer it because it's always she needs something. So I'm here as the chairman of a group called LaHunna Rise. And I'll describe that in just a minute, but it is really a true honor to be part of the organization. And I am glad that Rick called, and I am glad that you called too, Cynthia. Here in rural Colorado and on the Eastern Plains, we're on the move. We are on the rise, and it's really being led by Main Street, Colorado, and it's being led by LaHunna, Colorado. We are an example across the state for rural economic revitalization. And people from all over the state look to LaHunna and are constantly calling and saying, how are you guys doing it? What are you doing? And it's all because of Main Street. And we owe a huge gratitude not only to Gail and Larry and the Department of Local Affairs, but to the governor for his constant support and funding of this program. And so what the Main Street program has already done for downtown LaHunna, six buildings in downtown LaHunna have received state funding for building improvement. That's roof repair, HVAC, window repair. That is a direct result of the work that Main Street has done. And we are very proud. So we all know we do things a little different here in LaHunna. And so what we've done here in LaHunna is we've taken the Main Street program and we have combined that with a creative district that we've created in the downtown area. And that's what we have created, and that's what we call LaHunna Rise. And so that's what we're here, not only to celebrate in Thanksgiving for all that we have, but we're here to celebrate LaHunna Rise. And I'm very proud. And I see Dr. Tim Alvarez is part of the board, the mayor's part of the board.
Rick Klein.
Oh, Rick Klein's part of the board. Oh, Nancy Bennett is part of our board. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody?
That's it.
That's it. That's here, and they do a lot of work, and we're very, very appreciative of that. So the collaboration with Main Street has resulted in these buildings being funded. And so our goals with Main Street are promotion of our community, organization of economic development activity, economic viability, and design enhancement of our buildings. And that's what that money's gone for. In terms of the creative district, this is really something that's truly unique to LaHunna and is not done, to my knowledge, anywhere else in the state.
There's just a couple of
A couple other places, 2 other places, but ours is the best. So the idea behind the creative district is promoting and supporting creative activities in the downtown area. And you've already seen the result of that. You've seen that, and I know the mayor and Cynthia and Rick have gotten a lot of flack about Live Well Park. Well, it's done now. There's a few more enhancements to be done to that park. But as a result of that park, we had the play in the park this summer, which was a result of the creative district. The Tarantula Festival was headquartered out of that park. Thank you, Ange. But without the partnership with the creative district and the city and with DOLA, those activities wouldn't have happened. Another example of the creative district achievements is the film festival. Had the first one last December, and the second one's coming up this December. So those are direct things that you can point to about what LaHunna Rise has achieved, and we've got huge plans for the next year. And when we gather in Thanksgiving in November 2023, we'll have even more cool things to report on. So thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
You don't want to speak to?
Have the distinct pleasure to introduce Gail. She's been our partner, our coach, our support from DOLA. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so very much. Welcome to Lahana. And please thank the governor and Rick.
We love La Junta. It's a pleasure to be here, especially driving through a snowstorm to get down here to sunny skies. I wrote some notes down, but I also want to speak from my heart. I had known Miss Cynthia for 5.5 years when she came down to La Junta, and wow, what a powerhouse for those of you that have met her. She is a doer, an overachiever, and an overworker. But La Junta, because of Cynthia's foresight and efforts in her previous job in History Colorado, actually worked really hard and submitted an application to the Department of Local Affairs, the Colorado Main Street program, and they became an official community in the program, and at the time, only one of 19 in the entire state. It is quite a lift to get into the program, but what you are, your family. With her efforts and absolutely the support from Rick and the city and all of your folks, you have achieved great accomplishments. She's the best grant writer I've ever seen. So with that, as Cynthia was looking forward and wanting to pull together the creatives in La Junta, because you have such a unique community, and Nancy, you've been a tremendous part of that. They worked for a year to develop the La Junta Rise program. And it is very distinguished because there's only 3 Main Street programs in the entire state that have that distinction. And Cynthia, you have set the example for us to help other communities achieve that same high bar. So I have a very special announcement to make, and surprise. Come up here, Cynthia. La Junta has just been awarded tier advancement in the Colorado Main Street program, which may not make a lot of sense to you, but it means that they went from being an official community to an exceptionally distinguished community, which doubles the grants that we give you. And it is a great honor. We only have 8 of those in the entire state. So we will celebrate later. I'll get the paperwork all done. But congratulations. Give the Hunter Rise and Rick the more round of applause. That truly is an honor. So with that, I just wanted to mention a little bit about Main Street Open for Business, and we have Larry Lucas that's with me here today. He actually drove, thank you. He's a good driver too. But last year at the 11th hour, with all of the leftover stimulus money, we got written into a bill, and our staff of 3 was awarded $7 million for what we called Main Street Open for Business. We like to use the acronym MSOB. You can imagine over the year it took a lot of different acronyms than Main Street Open for Business as we were pushing the money through. But La Junta and Cynthia submitted an application and were approved 6 buildings. Klein Makerspace, the Fox Theater, the Opera House, Calico Properties, JMP Holdings, and I'm missing one, Rita Tozzi's block.
The warehouse. The warehouse.
The warehouse. Would all of the recipients, if you're here, stand up? No, Rita's here. Would you give these 2 folks a round of applause? And to tell you how they got $391,000. The awards didn't happen until October, so they had 10 months to complete this work. You guys all know that there's been a tremendous turmoil with contractors, supply chain issues, escalating material costs, and even the pandemic causing people not to be able to work. And under extraordinary circumstances, you guys got all of the work completed. And I bet you a lot of you had phone calls from Cynthia along the way, making sure you were on track. We were able to award just under $7 million around the state, and I'm very happy from a state standpoint that over 99.4% of that money was spent, which is a near record in DOLA. And it was a very innovative program, because if you guys know how state money works, it never goes to sub-grants, you know, to private business owners. It can go to public projects like firehouses, community centers, things like that, but it's never really allowed to go down to the business level. So we worked really hard, we got really creative, we had the governor's support. And I think he was just here recently.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, keep telling him this was a good program. But anyway, working through the city, if I said town, please forgive me. Working through the city, they were able to sub-grant the money to business owners. And now you've got a few anchor establishments that actually, I can't wait to see the Fox Theater tonight, take a tour of everyone's building. But this really has been something, and I want to quote from something Rick Klein said, because we videotaped La Junta for a couple of releases to let people know the impact of this program. And Rick, at the end of the video, that is my pride 3-minute video for the program, you said, please, you know, state of Colorado, please fund programs like this, because it truly can not only help our communities survive, but thrive. And hopefully in the future, maybe we'll get further funding and be able to do it again. So thank you, the City of La Junta, Rick, the RISE Board, and Cynthia, and I'm going to pass it on to Larry.
Thank you, Gail. It's an honor to work with Gail and Tracy Stoffel, who couldn't be here as part of the Main Street team. I've been in the Main Street world for about 11 years. I started in Oklahoma, where I grew up in a small town, about the exact same size as La Junta. So, you know, it's just really an honor to be speaking to you guys. And things that have been done here, it's heart-touching to me, because smaller communities is kind of why we do the work. You know, you can think about, you know, state leadership and things like that however you may, but a lot of us really care about the work we do, and I think it's important to be here, and I'm always welcome here, I know that. And that's one of the best things about your community, is that you're a true community. So you know, my hat's off to everyone here. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to us and celebrating. So I'm a licensed architect, and I work for DOLA, and I do historic preservation work. So kind of like in the realm that Cynthia's from, back with History Colorado. And you know, we like to celebrate the unique architecture that our forefathers laid down. And we're doing things a little differently nowadays. Not only are we doing the classic work with roofs and windows and things that are often out of reach of a lot of property owners to just do with the MSOB money. We're also combining that with energy efficiency work. And Colorado, I think, for the first time is on the forefront of actually bridging the gap between historic preservation folks and energy efficiency folks. You know, there's been a long-standing gap between the goals of both of these parties. You know, preservationists want a perfect building that really represents history. Energy efficiency gurus really want buildings that are the most energy efficient at almost any cost. And so both groups have kind of butted heads, but we've shown that here in Colorado we can work together. We're working with the Colorado Energy Office, History Colorado, and DOLA as this cool triad right now. And we're really proud of that work, and we're proud that it actually was what MSOB spawned, was the ability to do these kinds of projects. When we focus on history, you know, integrity of structures, keeping the community alive, having a place that's here for our kids and grandkids. You know, so you know, I'm glad that we can do that work, and you know, we'll be here for generations to come. These buildings will be here for generations to come. They're really the sleeping giants that we have, and so I'm just proud to help with that work. And just a big congratulations to your community. You all pulled this all off together this last year with the grant money that we had. We hope to get more of that money in the future so that we can share that with other communities, or even more back in La Junta. So I think the tenacity of this community and your welcoming spirit makes you very special. And I just appreciate being here today, and thank you for letting us talk.
Excuse me. I am Cynthia Neave, and I am the last one to talk, so I hope you can eat your pumpkin pie and get it and settle everything. What I wanted to say more than anything is a thank you to Gail Langley, Main Street Open for Business, the Urban Renewal Authority. I think this thing cut out. Yeah. Can you hear? You can hear me though. I have a voice. So don't worry about that. As well as the La Junta businesses for making the program a success. Gail created the program. People don't know this. She had a brainstorm. And she's the one who created the program. She didn't copy somebody else's program. And she fought to get the money. I mean, for months she fought to get that money. And then she brilliantly pulled it together, the administrative structure, everything in less than 4 months. Nobody does that. I mean, that was to help all of us out in the rural community. Others offer loans, but nobody offers grants to businesses. I'm telling you straight out, nobody does. The La Junta Urban Renewal Authority stepped up as well. They should be recognized for their vision to provide the cash match for the MSOB subgrant program. Most businesses would rehabilitate their businesses, they'd work on those buildings, but they don't have the money. And they certainly don't have the kind of cash in the bank for any kind of cash match as well. So Urban Renewal recognized what had to be done and they made it happen. They mitigated large swaths of the blight in our downtown with one action. Bravo to them. They did an outstanding job. And we now have soon to be 5 new businesses. I hear we're going to get a 6th one in one of these buildings. What a miracle. We all want to move forward. We don't want to stand still. Thank you, Gail and Tracy and Larry, for all you've done for Colorado's 13 MSOB communities. Thank you. Oh, I guess it's working now. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I appreciate the time so that we can inform you of what's going on. Thank